Hello everyone, this is Shadow Dragon recording again from the test server, and I'm kind of catching up. I haven't been here for a while, so I'm doing the catch up on Sorcery because that's what I said I'd be doing after my last ice test. And with the ice test, the last video was kind of trying out the latest adjustments where they adjusted the power back so that we didn't have to spec into power if we were going with a hybrid build. So I made the same adjustment on my sorcery character. So again, maxed out all the crits. And just to give an idea of the skill points you're going to need, I have the full weapon tree obviously, and then the 2 masteries, so that uses up 36, and then you've got the 7 from the movement mode, because you need the supersonic speed, 1 other to qualify for the innates, and then the 5 innates. So you got 7 movement, 36 weapon, and then with the crits that's taking up 60 already. So we're talking about 103 skill points right there. And that's without even going into these other innates. So what I did with this build was I put most of it into precision, but a close amount into might, and then just a little bit into health and defense for a little bit of survivability. Now, when I did this with ice, it actually tested pretty well, and I'd say that's the test build I was most comfortable with so far. And I did a new Genesis test on the hero side. So sorcery, I have this character a little bit higher than my ice test. She is at kind of the midpoint of T7, whereas my ice character was at the lower end. So I did a little bit of prep work actually. I did a bunch of the interactions before fighting the enemies, because this villain area has kind of a spawn problem, where if you're, because the population is less, you're often like the only player here, so it doesn't trigger enough spawns. So what I did was I snuck in and I did a bunch of the interaction parts, so that allowed some of the ads to spawn, because that's what we really want to test here. So we're going to pay attention to mostly the power back and the cooldowns. And this should be relatively easy because I'm at the higher to mid end of T7. So good cooldown on Karmic Backlash. I kind of think the Karmic Backlash cooldown is the same as the live server, or at least it feels like it. Yeah, if that's not the same, it's pretty close. Okay, this feels pretty good. and probably not quite as strong as the live server, but that's supposed to be expected because Sorcery is just too strong on the live server. So once again, you do have to power the Fury more, because he's casting, it's taking up the full power bar when he casts his one-shot, which is not really a one-shot anymore. I mean, he's still pretty strong, but I feel like this is a bit more balanced with the other powers. And it's of course less automated. Also, I'm still in the habit of popping the summoning powers after powering the Fury, even though that doesn't do anything anymore. That's just kind of muscle memory. And that's definitely going to take time to get used to. Because after the revamp, you would treat them as like two separate moves. Which kind of comes in handy for strategic purposes. Yeah, see, now that I cleared all the ads, they're having trouble respawning. What it's going to be is like a courier on this side, and then once I clear that, another one's going to pop up somewhere else. Okay, let's move on to the bounty area. That part kind of spawns faster. So offering seems like it has the same cooldown as live, or at least it's close. But having the need to power him more is where the balance is. And defensively, we're pretty good here. I may not have even had to spec into those two. Okay, let's get out of here for now. So let's take a look at the skills again. So my other thought on this is, on the test server we're given 170. And I just mentioned that you need 103 in order to get full weapon mastery, movement mode, and then the crits. So that is a pretty high amount if that's the build that everybody is testing. Like if we look at the average player now, like you see a lot of people that are below the, you know, that standard of skill points equals CR. There aren't many people that are at that point. And then you see a lot of the lopsided people where they're like T8 with less than 100. And if you had like the skip feature, at least those people have 60. And that's 160. So if they work themselves up to T8, you kind of think they would be 100, hopefully. But if we carry that over to this, it doesn't feel like it'd be enough. Like if I tested this with just 100, I wouldn't be able to fill out the crits even. And in a previous test with ice, you saw that I had a harder time matching the live server when I didn't have the crits filled out, like when I didn't have them maxed out. I think I mentioned this before, but maxing out the crits with the 60 points, like this is probably equivalent to maxing out on live, even though it's not presented in this way. On live, I believe it's 77. I think that the calculation was 3 points. No, it's 4 points to work to the crit to open it up on the weapon tree, and then you put 3 into it, so that's 7. And then I think there are 11 weapon types, so that's where the 77 comes from. So it's a little bit less, but they're translating it into the 60 on this menu. So anyway, yeah, I guess there's nothing really exciting about this one, but I just wanted to work through New Genesis, just kind of casually playing with this sorcery loadout here. So now I'm gonna move on to some of the other powers, because this is actually the 1.4 build. They didn't do too many changes to sorcery, if any at all, but I was just testing the latest 1.3 for sorcery. So what I'm going to do next is move on to rage, because they gave us rage, light, and nature, and then rage is the only one I have level 30 experience from. Actually, my nature tune just made 30, but I don't really know that power that well at all. I actually know light better than nature, even though my nature tune is higher. So what I'll do is I'll test a little bit of sorcery and rage, and then I'll probably circle back to sorcery if I finish up with rage. And that is before they add 3 more powers to it. But anyway, I'll cut this one off here, and I'll jump right into rage. Thanks for watching.